Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jim Spencer. I'm the president of Media Convergence Group, and you're at Newsy.com. Newsy.com is a company that we relocated here to Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, from Silicon Valley. We also put it in partnership with the University of Missouri and the renowned Missouri School of Journalism. We've been here about 18 months, and during that time we've created about 20 jobs. Everything that you see in the newsroom was funded by investors right here in the state of Missouri. We're also the beneficiary of a lot of the economic development plans that Governor Nixon shared last night, including really strong support from the state in terms of tax credits, also really strong local support from RADI in terms of grants and making that happen, as well as the Missouri Technology Corporation. I'm a native Missourian. It's nice to be back here. I'm a graduate from the journalism school. And on behalf of the fantastic team here at Newsy, it's a real pleasure to have you here. Welcome, Governor Nixon.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jim. Let me introduce just a couple of folks really quickly. First of all, I have traveling with me today the Department of Economic Development's Director, member of my cabinet, David Kerr. We're especially happy he was confirmed unanimously by the Missouri Senate this week, so if he's a little more relaxed than last week, that's why. Also, the head of the Missouri Technology Corporation, one of the great young leaders in our state who has really taken off, and we'll continue to see, as you'll see if we can get the measures we laid out last night through the legislation. We see this as a key asset for economic development growth that Jason Hall, Jason, it is always good to be with my great friend Brady Deaton. I think sometimes you all see the chancellor so much here that you don't quite, I think, fully feel the impact of his not only leadership in this community, but in the whole area across the country of higher education. Just one of the true leaders. And also your representative and my great friend Mary Still. I will tell you that she is interested dramatically in issues involving Missouri, but even more dramatically in issues involving her district. So she is especially aggressive about making sure that we continue to grow this region, and any place within her district that is not being fully used, she makes a good point to remind me of that. Last night in my State of the Union address, State of the State address, I laid out my vision for the next year. I talked about the urgent action we must take now to turn Missouri's economy around, and about broader strategies for longer-term growth. The first step in the process is clear, really relatively simple: get people to work. And we also need to keep the ones we have. We need to create more jobs, and no task really in government is more important than making sure that we're doing everything we can to get people to work. That's why the centerpiece of my agenda for this year is a three-pronged 2010 jobs plan. The legs of this plan are plain and straightforward, and we think proven to be effective. First, we want to expand the tools to help existing Missouri businesses grow. We want to invest in science and technology to attract new businesses to our state. And we want to enhance job training efforts, especially at Missouri's community colleges. Let me touch on each of these real quickly before I take some questions. First of all, Missouri First is my loyalty program to help existing Missouri businesses expand and create jobs. Under this program, existing Missouri businesses that have been here at least 5 years, up to 25 years, would be able to get 2% extra on economic incentives for training, for quality jobs, for build, for other things, so that companies that have been here for a great deal of time, we would be able to keep and expand. One of the more frustrating parts of my job is when we're attracting new companies is that we end up Sometimes it seems like paying more money to get somebody to come from another state than we can pay for one of our own to grow in the same area. We want to flatten that out and fix that problem. The second, and one that touches this area directly, is a part of our jobs plan. It's called the Missouri Science and Innovation Reinvestment Act. We call it MOSIRA. It will establish a dedicated investment fund to grow out of our cutting-edge technology industry. We'll reinvest a small percentage of the growth in the state revenue from the existing science and technology companies to help attract new ones. In addition, the jobs that are created in these fields, the fund will grow as well. Now, real quickly, I mean, in Kansas, they have something called Life Science Trust Fund. It will kind of modeled after to pivot a bit, but we want to broaden this a little bit to include technology jobs. We really think that the way to grow this economy is to use the human capital we have here, grabbing technology and moving forward. That's where Newsy really fits in. As you said, they already received a small bit of help from the Missouri Technology Corporation, but we want to be in a situation to help even more, to help in a broad range of areas, and have a constant source of income for that fund so that we're not constantly having to limit what we can do to help emerging companies. The final leg of the 2010 jobs package is what I'm calling Training for Tomorrow. $12 million to go to job training programs at Missouri's excellent community college. Quite frankly, there's no more place where there's a direct link between learning and work and jobs, right there. And we need to make sure that we're filling all of those high-tech jobs that are out there, all those skilled positions that we have open in nursing, in med tech, surveyors, diesel mechanics, whatever it is. We've got openings in those areas, and we want to have the training dollars. And then also, we're upping our training dollars, so we'll have flexible training dollars for companies that want to expand. Really simply, if you get a new machine, we're going to be there to help the workers train to use that machine. So that companies will be more likely to invest in higher tech machines and higher tech matters to move themselves forward. Now, over the last year, Missouri's made some real progress already. I know we have a challenging in the economy, no doubt about that, but we've been fiscally conservative with our dollars. We've been rated by Moody's Investment Services as one of the 11 states in the country most likely to emerge from the recession most quickly. But it's not going to be possible unless we get these additional tools in place from the legislature. And that's why last night I pressed very hard to them that we need to have these tools in place to make us competitive in every factor with a very quickly moving economy so that Missouri can continue to create the jobs to make sure that this is the place everyone stays. That being said, I'll take any questions the person might have.
Governor, you're here pushing job creation today, yet we found out yesterday that you're proposing more than 500 state government job cuts. Can you respond to people who say, well, now I'm unemployed in Jefferson City?
Well, first of all, it's an inaccurate number. So the 500 number includes the 400 plus I took off boards and commissions that don't pay at all. Those aren't jobs. By getting rid of 13 boards and commissions with hundreds of positions and asking the legislature to get rid of 18 repetitive boards also with all sorts of positions there, those are volunteers that come in, but some of those boards hadn't met in 10 years. So leaning that up while we don't put a direct fiscal number on it will help back it up. We did have to trim back a couple of dozen positions in this budget over what we've done last year. The total number over the last year is about 1,800, but we have a lot of dedicated fund dollars. I mean, we have a lot of sales tax revenue and other revenue that comes in. When the money doesn't come in, my primary job as governor is to try to make sure that those revenue amounts match the others. So the number we actually did, the total number since I started is about 1,800 positions. Many of those were unfilled. The numbers yesterday, much smaller than that, dealt with some dedicated funds where fee revenue just wasn't coming in. Next question. Yes, sir.
Governor, groups like Newsy are nationally based, and they decided to come into mid-Missouri and set up a newsroom. What kind of industry would you like to see come to Missouri, come to mid-Missouri, and succeed?
Well, we think that continuing to brand us in the life science, plant science, and emerging IT fields is a great place for Missouri. We have the basis for the agricultural plant side of that with our land and our agriculture base. But when you couple that then with companies like